Hello, my name is Utkarika Sharma and I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus and I make videos about him. And few days ago I had uploaded a video which was about suffering and God's heart about this. The title of the video is You Don't Need to Be Bleed. No, you don't need to bleed in order to be blessed. You can find it in my channel and I will put the link in the description. I was just I was describing this line that we often say, which says that which goes like, God trains you through suffering uh, before He trusts you with something, and that sentence can be taken out of context. Like that sentence can have a distorted meaning for many. So I was trying to clarify that. Yes, God prepares us through suffering, but He does not require us. Okay, it's not like He's like, you must suffer in order to get a job. So the whole point was that it's not God's heart that we should suffer. Okay, uh, for earthly small things. So that's there. But now someone might say that, okay, if it's not God's heart that I should suffer, then why am I suffering? Then He is God, right? He can just take this pain away. Then why is there suffering in this world? Which is often a question that we Christians get. So by saying that it's not God's heart for you to suffer in order to get a job before He trusts you with something, I was not trying to say that your life on this earth is going to be perfect. I was not trying to say that God is going to make your life or my life painless. My whole point was that God does not justify suffering or cause it. Okay? It's not. I was also not trying to say that it's a promise from God for Christians or for anybody in this world that they are not going to suffer once they follow Jesus. That was not my point. So I would like to start with a very simple lived experience that I learned this from. Last year I was going through something extremely painful, but I was so bitter, thinking about, like, I was bitter toward God, saying that, well, it might not have happened, but it is happening because I'm a Christian and because you have a purpose for me after all, and that's why you are bringing it. I mean, I wasn't blaming Him, but I was still blaming my faith for that, my calling for that, that it's happening because there is a purpose for me, because I am being prepared for something. And I was just bitter, and God was there and I was praying and all of that. But few days later I found out that one of my colleagues was going through exactly the same situation, and she knew nothing about God. She didn't care about God at all. So that was eye opening for me, because that suffering was not unique to me as a Christian. It wasn't caused for me, it wasn't caused by God. Suffering is not something unique to Christians. Some of the sufferings are, but a lot of it is not. And it was happening because of a hard life, because of unfair people, because of unfair market, not because of my calling. So then what is the difference? If she is an unbeliever and I am a believer and both of us are going through the same thing, what is the point of following Jesus then? So it is very natural for me and for anybody to assume that because I am following God, because I believe in Him, and because He is almighty, why won't He just make my life painless? Like, I am a Christian and I follow Him. He can just make my life look different by when others are suffering and I am not. But that's not how my life was different. It was different in the sense that she was going to whoever she could, to colleagues, to whoever she could. I even saw that. I even heard that. I was there. And whatever resources, all she had left was people and herself. Okay? And I'm not denying that you should support yourself. People are very important. But I had something so much more. I knew that the entire time, from the moment I got to know what is happening till the moment I healed from that, and even now, the entire time I had God with me, comforting me, giving meaning to that suffering, telling me that no, I have a purpose, that He is going to use this. Okay, and that whole thing being used to make me better than who I was, to purify my character. That didn't happen to her, and I'm not taking credit for what happened to me, and I'm not blaming for her what happened to her. I'm just saying that the difference, this is the difference that God brings, and God only knows how else He's going to use what happened, but He will use. That's something I know. The thing, I'm not saying that for others who don't have Jesus, no growth comes to them through suffering. Many people learn a lot of things through suffering, but it's only for this life. Like whatever purification, meaning that has been added to our pain, it does not stop in this life. It goes on after this life as well. And for those who don't have Jesus, they don't have that. They don't go to heaven, and they go to hell, and they are going to suffer. Not just that suffering, but endless suffering is coming. But for us, God, in that world, God is going to make our lives painless and full of joy, but not in this one. And so that's the difference we have. The difference as Christians is not God removing all pain from our life. It's God hating that pain with us, being present, intimately present with us in that suffering. And God not making our lives painless, rather making it purposeful, giving it a meaning, giving it, honoring the suffering. And the whole point of that previous video was that God is not saying that you must suffer in order to be blessed. But there are many instances in the Bible itself where Jesus says that the Son of Man must suffer. So there are two types of must, I would say. That one is when Jesus said that the Son of Man must suffer. Jesus also said that, He said it to the soldiers that, don't you think that if I tell my Father, He is going to send angels to save me? So God is not incapable of taking our pain away, of making our lives painless. And at times Jesus was delivered from so many things. God does heal us and deliver us from so many things in our life. But there are a lot of things which He does not stop. And He will not stop. And why did Jesus say that? He did not say that the Son of Man must suffer in order for Him to get a job, or in order for Him to be trusted with something. He must suffer in order for salvation, in order for us to be saved, for the eternal calling to be fulfilled. Okay, and the most painful suffering of the life of Jesus, we never got to see. Jesus never got to see the fulfillment of that while He was alive, before crucifixion and resurrection. We see it now, after the resurrection, after the death, even 2000 years later. Now we are being blessed by what He did. Even now the purpose, even now God is at work, even now He is using that. And I'm not denying that God will not use our pain or anything to prepare us for something that He does while we are alive. I'm just saying that that's not the end of it. Okay, and that it's an eternal calling, because of which God does not wipe away all of our pain. Some of the other reasons why we see pain in our lives and in the lives of others is because this is a fallen world. Because when Adam and Eve, they fell from the grace of God, after that pain, death, suffering entered this world, and God is not going to overrule that this way. He did overrule it through the gospel, through Jesus, but he's not going to overrule it by wiping everything away, by making everything painless. And God has given human beings free will, which is an honor and a responsibility at the same time, and that is something he's not going to overrule. And overrule in the sense that he's not going to stop when people are doing horrible things to you. That's their free will, and they will suffer the punishment for that. And you, if you lean on him, you will be rewarded for enduring it, and you will be comforted, and you will be made more like Jesus through that pain. And again, free will is that we are not perfect human beings, we are sinful and we don't know everything, so there will be painful consequences for our sin, for our bad decisions in this life. So that's another way God will not wipe away our pain. Another reason is he will not overrule our humanity. Okay, we as humans, we are under time, we are under the design that actions have consequences, that we are still living in this fallen world, we are under death, we are under suffering. So that's why he's not going to uh, wipe everything away, but something he did through Jesus, for Jesus. And the same promise we can count on is that he will be present with us, and he does not negate suffering, and he does not, but he enters it, he endures with us, and he redeems it, he gives it meaning, he gives it his name. And I won't just stop there, I won't just say that God is saying, well, when life is hard, I'll just use it. No, for us, Jesus says that take up your cross and follow me. Okay, it's not like it's not just passive endurance, it's an active endurance. He says that, think about it, your cross being given to you and you taking up your cross and carrying it, that's very different. You are choosing it. Although that doesn't mean that he's saying go and cause an accident or go invite trouble or stay in abuse. He's simply saying when it's inevitable, when it comes to you, with humility, choose it. Like, I don't know, it can be taken in such an unhealthy manner when I would say that choose suffering, but just like Jesus took up the cross, and he never deserved it, but he took it, he accepted it, and knowing, having faith in God that there is a purpose behind that, that's how we should be when suffering comes. Even Peter said that, Peter or James, I don't remember, that don't be surprised when these trials come to you, because God is doing something so valuable, that this is producing endurance, character, so many things in you. This is our calling. Okay, so this is not just something you are like this passive victim of suffering, rather you are actively glorifying God in that. It this way, it's not like you are a person and you don't know what's going to happen, and I'm a person and I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm going and I face an accident. Can I stop that? No. But if I get to know that an accident is going to happen, I'll do my best to avoid it, right? Rather, this is like a soldier going into battle, and the soldiers know that something is going to come, and they choose to go there. They choose to. Oh, I have huge respect for soldiers, though it's such a hard job, and they choose to go and fight the battle, and their wounds are inevitable, and they know they might die even. That's how it is as a Christian, that you know that suffering is going to come, and Jesus has clearly said this to us. And for God's heart in this is that, let's say, a king would never want the soldiers to suffer. A king would not want their wounds. A king would not Yes, he just won't want them to suffer, but that doesn't mean he's going to not send them to the battle. He's going to send them to the battle knowing that they will get hurt, but he will be there to support them. And unlike an earthly king who does not know what is going to come, we just have this general understanding that battle is tough, wound is going to be there, and an earthly king can only sympathize with you, reward you for your faithfulness in whatever way they can, and while in this life, even after you die. I mean, posthumous rewards are there, but for God, He knows every single wound that is going to come on your way, and He's going to be there with you, and He adds purpose to each and every wound, and your reward will not only be, may or may not be in this life, but it will be eternal, something way bigger. It says that that God is able to do infinitely more than we can, imagine, and that's how it's gonna be. He will be glorified in you. Thank you for watching, and keep watching to know more about Jesus.